Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Gabrielle and we're doing the first new makeup releases of the year. It's sort of exciting, I guess. I don't feel as angry as I did the last time. I don't really have anything to say about, okay, this is what bothered me about this. I mean, I don't think it could come up. I feel like there's a lot to talk about, but also not as much as I thought it would be since it's been a while since my last one, but let's just get on into it. I want to try to record quickly because I am one of those people that watches Euphoria. And I'm sorry, it has a good plot. If you're interested in hearing about the new makeup releases and hearing my thoughts on them, because you came to my video, these are my thoughts, then hang out and subscribe and we will start. I don't know if it's still worth it to talk about the things that launched in early December. I'll start with this Natasha Denona release from mid-December. She released the mini Biba eyeshadow palette and the Rose Cheek duo, and I don't really care about the duo, the Rose Cheek duo, but the Biba palette, I really wanted it up until like a few minutes ago, and I say that because I feel like I duped it. Like, I don't know if you would think that I'm wearing it. I mean, maybe not. The shimmer, definitely not. It's such a different color, but like, I don't know, I was getting Biba vibes today. I was playing with some singles that I recently got from Dandelions Co. And I was like, this kind of looks like the Biba. So I'm like, I mean, the tones might be a little different, but you know, I did really want this. I love like salmony pinks. I love deep reddy browns, you already know. So I wanted this. And it's very pretty. It's very, very pretty, and I've heard nothing but great things. And I would love to try her cream to matte eyeshadow formula. I've only tried her powder formula. So I think it's pretty. Do I need it? No? So there's a brand, I guess an indie brand, I'm assuming called Taste Beauty. I'm willing to bet that they paid for Trenmu to boost this launch up. But they released some products, you know, all revolving around food because they're called Taste Beauty. They released a Nerds rainbow flavored lip balm, a Pez flavored lip balm. You know what? I don't think I've ever ate a Pez. Like, we literally have Pez dispensers like in our living room because they're cute. We have Yoshi and a cute little teddy bear, but I don't think I've ever actually eaten a Pez. But the main thing I wanted to talk about here was the Flamin' Hot Cheetos lip scrub. And this is fascinating. I'm somebody who went to a high school where everybody had hot Cheetos for breakfast, or at the very least, they brought them to school and ate them, so much so that the term hot Cheeto girls makes me laugh. And I don't like hot Cheetos, I just don't like the taste of them. I just prefer regular Cheetos, so I think it's fascinating. This is obviously gross, like you get this right. You know, no shade to the hot Cheeto girls from my high school. Hi. But I don't think they would even want this. If they did want this, I would ask a lot of questions, but mostly like about how does it feel on your lips? And yeah, I mean, the thought of putting something hot as a lip scrub, people use plumping lip glosses, but this is a lip scrub. It's like you don't go for a lip scrub to feel heat and pain, to make your lips feel more plump, which I don't even know if this is going to do that, but you go to a plumping lip gloss for that. So now I'm starting to think about a Hot Cheetos lip gloss, and I don't I don't like that. I think just food themed makeup in general doesn't really appeal to me, just like these collaborations with Cheetos, Nerds, Peds, makeup. Yeah, I mean, this isn't even really makeup, it's lip care. I don't like it, okay? I don't like any of this, like, please. Well, let's keep the theme here. I guess I am going to talk about things launched in December. So, Glamlight collaborated with Icy, and I want to like this more. The thought of a red monochromatic palette is like, you would think that that sounds boring, but to me, I really want it because there's not a lot of red monochromatic palettes and there's not a lot of them done well. Like, they just look very pink mostly. And this one too, it looks more purple and pink than red to me. At least it did when I saw Adra at home use it in a video. I was curious, so I watched it, and it didn't look that red. It just looked purple to me and more like pinky, and I'm like, that's not what I wanted. I wanted red. And this does kind of look like a response to Jeffree Star Blue Blood and Blood Sugar. This looks like a more, hey, we're not Jeffree Star, so get this if you were interested in that, but ew, Jeffree Star, that is kind of the vibe, which I'm not mad at. I'm really not mad at it at all, even though at the end of the day, Blue Blood and Blood Sugar are just monochromatic palettes. I don't really feel anything towards the blue one, and I wanted to be more excited for the red one, but I'm just not. How much longer are we going to keep seeing these collabs? Like, do they sell? Are there people that are really die hard for Icy that are like, fuck yeah? Are there people that are really die hard for Hot Cheetos that die hard? To be like, lip scrub, like what a nice relaxing nighttime routine to put this lip scrub. Do these people exist? Or are we just getting into the mind frame of people will buy anything? Because I think we're really starting to see that no, that's not true. Which is, I guess it's kind of a nice segue to go into BH Cosmetics filing for bankruptcy. People like Too Much Mouth and Kira C have done videos on this, kind of explaining what it means. Basically, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and I know what that means? Not really, but basically they're not bringing in enough money and their launches haven't been doing very well. I think that it's just showing that no, people don't buy anything. Like, they kept collaborating with celebrities like Doja Cat and Iggy Azalea. Doja Cat was not a bad choice because she's such an it girl right now. Iggy Azalea is not, and she never was. Like, no shade. Maybe partially shade, because doesn't she rap the N-word? But she's never been the it girl. Like, she had Fancy, and then what? And Fancy was fucking 2014. Like, I'm simply not in high school anymore. And her collection made no sense. It was totally plastic, 2000s inspired. And I'm like, when I think of Iggy Azalea, I don't think of the 2000s. I think of 2014. I don't care if she is of age to be nostalgic over the 2000s. Like, that's not what I associate with her. And Doja Cat's collection, it just didn't intrigue me. Like, I like Doja Cat. I really like her music, but that wasn't enough for me to buy it. And that's kind of where we are. Like, that it's not enough for anyone to buy it anymore. And I know that they did a round 2. I don't really care about it. I didn't even save it to my Instagram post because I only save things that are slightly interesting. And I'm sorry. But I don't know if them doing a round 2 means round 1 did well at this point, if it's just a please. Give us anything, we're starving, please, we're trying to keep our lights on, I don't know, like BH, there's people that collect BH cosmetics, which personally I am never going to get into that collector's mentality, but whatever. There's people that collect BH cosmetics, but they're smaller creators. And I do have a couple of their palettes, and I do like their formula, but I'm going to be honest, I don't reach for those palettes enough. I used one of their Sweet Shop palettes the other day, actually. It was the red one. I have the red one. And I have the Blueberry Muffin palette, and I think that's it. Yeah, I think I own like 2 palettes from them, and they're not bad palettes, I just don't use them a lot. And I don't really look for their other palettes because they kind of release a lot. People would say they were bigger back then, but honestly, to me, they were never that big. Like, yeah, of course they were big, but they were never like at a Fenty level, and even at like an Anastasia level, which they're falling down. But like, they're not closing, they're not done, but they are down. And similarly, like, Benefit keeps releasing professional primers. And something that could be said when we compare Benefit to BH Cosmetics is Benefit has brow products. You use up brow products very fast, and people love their brow products. They perform very well, so they keep buying them. Benefit doesn't need to release a fuck off eyeshadow palette, a Doja Cat collaboration. I think they're actually the most popular brand at Sephora, which, when you first hear that, you're like, how? But then it's like, they put out products that you have to repurchase every so often, so it makes sense. And even I would probably buy Benefit brow products if they were cruelty free. I actually used to have their Ka-Brow. Ironically, I think it lasted forever. I never finished it, actually. I never finished it. Like, I'm pretty sure it would outlive me. I have tried their Professional Primer before, and there are better pore filling primers. I think the e.l.f. one is better. It just kind of felt like a shield on your face instead of just like being one with your face, you know. And I don't know what this light one is supposed to mean. It's more lightweight and breathable. Okay, but like kind of just like, you know, brands get into this habit of this product really sold. You know, primers, you do have to get a restock of it at some point, so they're really trying to like get at that. But just they'll Benefit has never released a new thing. Like, what was their last launch? Like a professional setting spray and like another mascara or something. Those are like the last things I remember them releasing. So I don't get this. Same goes for Tarte. Tarte released another fucking Shape Tape thing. Like, please, the Shape Tape concealer isn't even good. It doesn't fucking blend in, it cements, and they keep releasing this. This is a foundation, an SPF foundation, which sure, fine, it's with the trends of like more medium coverage, SPF, kind of skincare ingredient foundation, glowy foundation, like that is with the times, sure, but even when Tarte releases things like eyeshadow palettes, I think they're ugly. Or just redundant, very, very redundant. They're just like Benefit. They're just a very redundant brand where it's like, dude. My favorite thing from Tarte is their fucking cheetah print magnetic palette. That's sad. Milani actually came out with this collection, the Flora collection, where there's a lot of stuff here, but I mainly just kind of wanted to talk about the lipsticks because I'm wearing one right now. This is their Color Fetish lipstick in the shade Lustful. I don't think this is matte. I think this is more satiny, but I don't mind that. But just, yeah, I don't think this is matte. Unless this is one of the ones that didn't have a matte formula. But the packaging of this is really cute, and the formula is actually really nice. Like, it doesn't feel like drugstore, it feels more high-end, really, really comfortable, kind of cushiony, and yeah, just doesn't feel like this matte, my lips are suffocating formula. So I got this at Walgreens. It's really nice. Okay, so here is the Jacqueline segment of my new releases videos. She released a skin perfecting blurring tint, a foundation or a skin tint, and a concealer. Fill Filter Perfecting Concealer. Here's the thing. This isn't me being an asshole. This is me just going off of reviews that I've seen. The girlies are saying the concealer is awful. And it's fascinating because they're saying it's awful in different ways. Alexandra Anel says that when she blends it out, it disappears. Whereas, like, Teresa Is Dead says it will not blend. Like, it's just kind of what the Tarte Shape Tape was for me. It just was like this obvious blob on your face. That's kind of what it was for Teresa's Dead. So it's fascinating. But basically, this concealer is not good. I've been hearing word on the street is this concealer is not good. The skin tint I've heard is fine, but I'm not putting Jacqueline on my face. That sounds like I said something else. I'm not putting Jacqueline's makeup on my face. I will say that the shade range of the skin tints is better than I thought it would be, but that's a low bar. And this is what I mean when, like, brands, sure, they'll put out a good complexion range for their foundations, but then they'll stop. Because why are her bronzers such a trash range? Why are her blushes such a trash range? You can't just cater to people with deep skin tones with the foundation because they're not only wearing foundation. Okay, you have to give them a whole look, you know? So I think that sometimes a good shade range can be performative if you're not catering to them with your other products, which she's not. So I just wanted to say that doing a skin tint is more with the times. It's sheer coverage, you know, that's really what is popping right now. And I think the concealer is more of a full coverage, yeah, medium to full. But again, I'm steering clear. That's it. However, KVD is coming out with a concealer too. This is their Good Apple concealer to go with their Good Apple foundation. I did not try that. That was all the rage last year. I really wanted to, but then I realized, you know what? It's full coverage, and I don't use full coverage foundation enough to justify getting another full coverage foundation. Like, I have two. I save them for more like event things, which has been a long time. I think I'm just more comfortable with medium coverage. But the Good Apple concealer, I'm really interested in, like interested enough to want to get it. Maybe. Like, I don't know, the packaging is beautiful, which is a dumb reason to want it, but here we are. The shade range, I don't know how to word it because it's like, yes, it does cater from light to deep, but it kind of feels like half of the range is light, especially when you look at the swatches on the arm. 50 undertones of light, and then the other half is medium and deep combined. So that is a bit strange. I do remember the foundation shade range being pretty good. But yeah, I might want to try this. Maybe. I do really want to try this Charlotte Tilbury foundation. It seems like it's what I thought it would be based on reviews, and I might get it at some point in time, and maybe this too. Blend Bunny came out with another palette, and it's called the Dollhouse Palette. I want to get down with this, you know, I want to get down with the theme of dollhouse. That sounds really cute. It's just too big. You know, I really just want for Blend Bunny Cosmetics to release smaller palettes. Like, I'm begging, because I keep hearing, you know, the formula's super good and oh my god. And I was even telling myself like, well, maybe I should get like their brush set to try out Blend Bunny, but then it's like, no. You know yourself too well. You know that you just use the same brushes. You don't really go looking for a different blending brush most of the time. So yeah, I'm basically just sharing this to show like it's here. But I just wish they sold smaller palettes. Like, I really wish that they would come out with smaller palettes one day, because then I would try them. I mean, if the color story was good too. Nars also came out with a foundation. It's the light reflecting foundation. Makeup that looks like skin and acts like skincare. See, I feel like we're gonna see a lot of this. We're starting to see it in 2021, and I feel like this is gonna be the year of light coverage foundations, skincare ingredient foundations. You know, like Nars is doing it. Charlotte Tilbury is doing it. Even like Tower 28 releasing their foundation last year. Like, I guess with skincare being like on the rise ever since COVID, because everybody was stuck at home, not really wearing that much makeup, so they decided to take better care of their skin. And now we're kind of seeing makeup's response to it, because their products are probably just finishing production. Is that the word? But basically, these foundations might have been in the works for a while, ever since they realized, oh, the girlies like skincare. So combining this, and yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about a foundation. Like, maybe you could just look at the claims that it has and go, oh, okay, like that sounds nice, but I'm never the one that's the first to try out a foundation, even though I want to try out that KVD concealer. Oh yeah, I saved this BH Cosmetics Aquarius palette because all of 2021 they had zodiac themed palettes. They're little palettes based on the signs. I think they came out like on the 1st of each month. And I think BH thought that that would be a really good idea because everybody's really into astrology. They're doing it again. And I'm kind of like, why? Like, I didn't really like their astrology palettes last year. And I don't know if it's just because I don't care about astrology. A couple of them were cute, but you know, I'm not the one that's gonna go out buying stuff just because it says Leo, which is me. I am Leo. Like, my mom got me a Leo necklace for Christmas, and I'll wear it because, oh, that's cute. You know, she had an astrology phase a long time ago. But you know, I'm personally not the one to get things just because they say Leo. Yeah, I am kind of like, oh, you're doing it again. I mean, really, we see here, because I think this was before they filed for bankruptcy, or at least announced it. I think now we're kind of like, oh, you're really just throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks. I guess we're gonna be seeing more astrology makeup. And then we have ABH. They released lipstick and lip liners. I've gotten kind of into lip liners recently. I mean, I have two. Well, no, I don't have two. I have more than two, but I was so like, oh, I don't wear lip liner, I don't use lip liner, that I would use the lip liners I own in my waterline. But I've been getting into lip liner more. And this is just kind of like a classic release, I guess. This is a release where they're probably desperate, one, and two, they're probably like, this has to sell. It's lipstick, it's lip liners. Who doesn't wear lipstick and lip liner, you know? But to me, it's just kind of like, you're down bad, aren't you? Like, sure, they could be amazing formulas, but people are probably bored with the idea of getting a new lipstick and a new lip liner to where they're probably not going to be running to try it, whereas if it was like an eyeshadow palette. I can't even say they should go back to eyeshadow palettes because the last one they came out with was so boring. Like, they've really lost their magic, you know? And it's kind of, it's not sad, that's dramatic. I'm not going to say it's sad, but it's just bizarre. Like, ever since 2020, they just lost it, completely lost it. Like, who's really gonna be out here checking for these? I mean, if you are checking for these, then, you know, I'm happy for you. But I think a lot of us, we're just like, we have lipstick, we have lip liners, we have these colors. They're basically just like nudes and reds. And then when you compare it to something like Kaja, they're known for like their funky shaped makeup. But they released this new lipstick in like a little heart component, which is really cute. And they're basically, I think they're like, yeah, they're lip mousses, which is very popular with K-beauty. Like M Cosmetics has this formula. And I've heard of like other K-beauty brands that have this formula, which Kaja is K-beauty. So I'm not really surprised at this. The colors are pretty. I don't know if I can talk myself into needing them. I mean, maybe. I've heard that they're nice. I know Judy did a video on them, and she said that they're really nice and comfortable. So that's cool. And it's cute. It's like a cute shape without being like unbearable to store. You know, just like what is going on here. Like I think it's the right amount of funky. But can you imagine ABH trying to like do something like this? Because I can't. I can't. Janessa Marix came out with two cream blush palettes. There's the more pinky rosy one is called Do It Flirty, and the more brown neutral one is Do It Undercover. And I'm really intrigued by Do It Undercover. I mean, I love brown blush. I know like the last shade in Do It Undercover might be like too deep for me and I don't know what I'd be able to do with it. But I mean, I love the range of these blushes. Even like, I kind of just wish that I could make my own palette because I would probably mix a couple from the nude and a couple from the more pinky ones. These are very pretty and they look very, very luminous. Even like the model, their skin is just glowing. With blush palettes, it's pretty rare that like I look at a palette and I'm like, yeah, I would use every single blush in here. That's rare. So I don't really get a lot of blush palettes, and that's the same case for these. I just don't know if I would use a lot of them. Well, I know I wouldn't use all of them, so yeah, but they're very pretty. If they come out with a system where I could curate my own palette, I would be all into that. So Likely Makeup is a brand that I've talked about and like praised for their blush palette and their lashes, even though I haven't worn lashes in a long time. But they released something, probably their only release of 2021 was their Ugly palette. And this palette was based off of like, I think Pantone saying that this color of like brownie green here called Ugliest was the ugliest color. I think was what like the inspiration of it all. Again, this is a palette that I want to like get down with, but to me it's just a rainbow palette, and I know some people are like, no it's not, but I'm kind of like, yeah it is. I think it's a rainbow palette. I mean, the shimmers on the bottom look really, really nice, but I wouldn't get it just for that. But I have heard great things about like the formula. If this is something that you're interested in, I hope that they come out with like more palettes, because I would love to try them out, but this is just not really calling to me. I think the Ugly shade is probably my favorite shade because you already know I love grungy greens, but yeah, this just doesn't really call to me. e.l.f. came out with the Cookies and Cream collection. They have a lot of stuff here, like a palette, glosses, new sponges, a Cookies and Cream scent putty primer, which does intrigue me. The thing that kind of was funny to me about this collection was they came out with some glosses, and they have 3 lip glosses that also have a Cookies and Cream scent. But one of them is called Cream Come True. I'm such a child. This collection does kind of intrigue me for the scents, but I know I still have like my putty primer, so I know I don't really like need to run out and get a new one. Okay, I really hope that car alarm doesn't go off again. I think it's interesting when brands repackage like some of their staple products, because I really don't know what their reason is for that. Like Charlotte Tilbury did it with the Lunar New Year. She had new packaging for her powder and like tiger stripes and stuff. And it is just kind of lazy, I feel, when brands do things like this, because it's like, what's so interesting about it now? You know, besides the packaging. And a lot of people probably have these products because they're like hero staple products. I don't know, unless they're just trying to like get new people to buy it that haven't tried it yet. But you've probably tried e.l.f.'s putty primer, or at least it's very easily accessible, way more accessible than Charlotte Tilbury's powder. I want Oreos now. Fenty Beauty's coming to Ulta, and basically everybody's freaking out. Like, because Fenty is basically owned by Sephora, so it's kind of interesting that they're going to be at Ulta. I never thought this would happen, actually. So yeah, it's kind of fascinating, all these brands that are kind of going to be at Ulta, like Chanel I know is going to be at Ulta now. Ulta just has a better point system. $500 in a calendar year to get their highest status, where at Sephora it's $1,000. And, you know, I don't even think that the perks you get for Sephora Rouge are as good as the Ulta ones, because Sephora Rouge, you get, what, 20% off? I mean, you get other shit too, but, like, that's why people want it, is for 20% off on their sales. Which, when you think about it, is just silly. It really is silly. I mean, I'm a Rouge member, but, you know, it just sucks that we have to do this. Ulta is just a lot easier. It's harder for me to hit that mark though with Ulta, just because like I get like drugstore products from there, and I just realized that I tend to shop at Sephora more. Fenty and Ulta. I'm sure it's gonna sell like really well, especially because like maybe you live near an Ulta but you don't live near Sephora kind of thing. So I don't know where Ulta is in other countries, because it's not in Canada, right? Where does Ulta exist? I guess I kind of wanted to talk about this Adept Cosmetics Plain Jane Remastered palette. For one thing, I'm kind of like, what's the point of this? As somebody said, they've remastered this palette like 35 times at this point. I really don't get what it is they're trying to do here. I mean, is this their way of bringing Plain Jane back? But this is also kind of me. I never said this in a video, I just said it on my Instagram, but I'm not going to purchase from Adept anymore, and I know I've talked about how much I love Plain Jane, and I'm still gonna like have that palette in my arsenal. But basically a situation went down where a customer was trying to tell Adept, hey, I wish that your website was more accessible, because the customer was blind. They posted a comment on Adept's Instagram, and Adept responded basically saying go shop somewhere else. And I didn't like that at all. I thought that that was kind of ableist and rude, like bitchy. Especially with the owner of Adept being a space engineer, you can't build a better fucking website to cater to disabled people. Like, how is that not the first thing on your mind when starting a business, is to cater to everyone? How do you have such a narrow mind that you don't realize disabled people might want to purchase from your business? You know, it's just very like, I don't like this at all. So I don't really support Adept Cosmetics, and I don't get what the fuck they're doing with this Plain Jane remastered bullshit. Like, what is this? Same thing with Nomad. They released this palette called Nomad Lodge. It's a cute color story, but Nomad is also another brand that I'm kind of like about, because they released because it's been a few months now, but they released a Shanghai palette where basically a lot of Asians didn't really appreciate this Chinese palette, where they're just profiting off of Chinese culture, as these white people are profiting off of Chinese culture, and just like putting a palette together saying, oh my god, look, you know, like you could have at least maybe had some of the proceeds go to like a foundation that helps Chinese people or something like that, or you could have at least collaborated with a Chinese creator or something like that. But it's just you white people saying this is China and profiting off of basically, I don't know if it's cultural appropriation, but do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, they just made this palette on a culture that's not theirs for money. So yeah, I don't really appreciate that. I know that they immediately stopped selling it. I think that they apologized, but then they deleted the apology. I think, don't quote me on that, but I've just been kind of like, I don't really need anything from Nomad. I mean, to be honest, their color stories never interested me anyway. I felt like they were always too, like, jumbled, in my opinion. And this one is fine, you know, but I think that they've just started to avoid locations because they used to do, like, Studio 54 and, well, actually I lied, they did one in Europe, but, you know, like, more ethnic locations, I should say. So I guess that's good, but I don't need to be the one to applaud them by spending money on them. So Shine by SD came out with the collaboration between two creators on Instagram, Bizarro Vota and M. Jones. They're basically two palettes, as above, so below. And I do think that these are pretty. It's just like very, very expensive. Like, I mean, these are all supposed to be like special shadows. I've never tried Shine by SD. I want to. I've heard that their shadows are pretty fragile though, you know, so that kind of scares me. But I have just been like very interested in them because they look very beautiful. And for these palettes being so expensive, I kind of wish that the packaging was a little more special because it's just like white packaging with words on them. I mean, I understand if like they couldn't afford it, but you know, I don't know that for sure. Basically, the palettes are $90 each, right? And you could get them as a single bundle without the palette for $86 each. I've just kind of been telling myself I don't need it and just trying to talk myself out of it. I mean, congratulations to both M. Jones and Bizarro Vota. Like, congratulations to you both. And this is a very beautiful collection, like it really is. Hi. So I'm editing this video and I really wanted to include this new release because I thought it was hysterical. So there's a brand called Soul Mamas. They're a Korean brand and they did a collaboration with Oscar Mayer. It's a bologna face mask. And it doesn't say whether or not it smells like bologna, so I'm just gonna assume that it doesn't, but it says that there's benefits from the bologna, so I don't know what that means. There's like witch hazel in it and like collagens or something, but even like look at the model, like they look like they're just having the time of their lives. Yeah, I wonder how many come in this pack. Like if it's just one or if it's like a few, like an actual thing of bologna. It's available on Amazon. I guess bologna face masks. Does anything surprise you anymore? You know, I'm kind of underwhelmed. Like, again, I'm looking at the things that I have saved, but a lot of the things that I saved, I'm like, I don't even want to talk about that because there's really nothing to say. I think I'm just going to end it there. It was my new makeup releases of the year. It's a lot more underwhelming than I thought it would be, but I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless and enjoy hearing me talk about some new makeups, my thoughts, aggressive or not. Tell me if there's anything that you want to pick up. Tell me how you feel about these new releases. I would love to know, but I think that that is everything from me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Gabrielle rizz-uh, and thank you so much for watching as well. You've been a lovely audience, and I'll talk to you later.